my God, that is riveting. That is so exciting. I would say the most exciting story of 2021, but it should have been the most exciting story in 2020, except for, as you know, news coverage of Hunter Biden, Joe Biden's son, was blocked. It was blocked by Twitter, it was blocked by Facebook, it was blocked by all the tech companies that didn't want you to know the truth about Joe Biden's son. Not because it was lascivious. The media party has no problem with things that are obscene, drug or sex oriented, but rather that it was so politically devastating to their candidate of choice. Well, that cone of silence is being lifted. Even if it's being lifted after Joe Biden is in office, as you can see there, our friends Phelim and McAleer are making their next blockbuster movie, an anti-Hollywood movie. It's called My Son Hunter, the Hunter Biden movie, and it's being done by crowdfunding at mysonhunter.com. Joining us now via Skype from sunny California are the McAleers. Hey, Phelim, how you doing?
I'm doing good, Ezra. Thanks for having us on. Yeah, it's going to be a great project, a great movie, great story.
That is a very exciting promo trailer. That's just, I guess, what they would call in the business a teaser trailer. Yeah. Hunter Biden checks all the boxes for interesting. He's sexually extreme, drug abuse, foreign lands, money, bribery, and of course, the family politics. You would think he would have been the most written about, most published stories of 2020, but it was shut down because it was too interesting, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, look, the script writes itself, and this is a movie, not a documentary. It's got exotic locations, it's got drama, it's got high political drama, it's got corruption, it's got strippers, it's got strip bars. I call it Austin Powers meets King Lear with a bit of House of Cards thrown in. It's got all those elements. This should have been the news story of last year. It should be the news story of this year. It's not. It should be, Hollywood should have been optioning scripts left, right, and center, but they didn't want to. And it's not like it's not their usual ignoring a good story. They actually suppressed this story. Twitter suppressed it. Facebook suppressed it. Twitter banned the New York Post from posting about it. They banned everyone else from sharing the link to this story. And all the other journalists attacked any journalist who wanted to cover this story. So this was an actual, genuinely bona fide suppressed story. And the reason is because it was so devastating to the Democratic family, to the Biden family, and to the crime family as well.
Yeah, well, I recall the New York Post, one of the longest published newspapers in America, they broke this huge story. They were suspended, not for anything inaccurate, but because, I don't know, it was bald politics. So let me come back to something you said a minute ago. You said this is a movie, not a documentary. Yeah. Okay, now I know you've made outstanding documentaries before. I first saw your Mind Your Own Business and Frack Nation. Really opened my eyes to fracking. You've done the Gosnell movie, which is sort of a dramatization of a true crime story. When you say mysonhunter.com is a movie, not a documentary, what do you mean by that?
Well, it's just like Gosnell. It's a dramatization of a true crime story. It's going to have actors. It's going to have script. It's going to have locations. It's not going to have any interviews or anything. It's going to be It's not a documentary. It's based on a true story. And boy, what a story! I mean, this is a guy who joined the Navy late in life. Turned up for his first day at work and was found to have more cocaine than the population of Colombia in his system. He was fired immediately. His answer was that actually he'd been on his way there. He'd stopped at a bar and two South Africans had given him a cigarette laced with cocaine. This is a guy who got a stripper pregnant and denied paternity until forced to by the courts to pay. This is a guy who had an affair with his brother's widow. This is a guy who has been in and out of rehab. But this is not to attack Hunter Biden's personal feelings or his addictions, by the way, which are tragic. This is to say an international oil and gas company searched the world for an executive, and they found the guy who was thrown out of the Navy in the first day. They found the guy who was in and out of rehab. They found the guy who was living this dissolute lifestyle, had never had a proper job. Why? And what strings did Joe Biden pull once Hunter was on the board? Why did Hunter Biden get $100,000 as a spending perk from a Chinese businessman? Why did his consultancy get $3 million from the mayor of Moscow's wife? And who is the big guy? And in one of his emails, he talks about the big guy, and everyone says that's Joe Biden. Is that correct? So this is the story we're going to tell. This international man of mystery, but that maybe is not so mysterious. The answer might be quite prosaic, actually.
You know, when you say Austin Powers plus House of Cards and King Lear, I'm just thinking of Austin Powers. You're right. He was so louche. He was so over the top. I mean, it was a comedy. I think Hunter Biden's life is part tragedy, part comedy, but the reason it continues, the reason he gets a $1.3 billion investment or whatever from China is not because he's ridiculous. It's despite the fact that he's ridiculous, because his dad is powerful. And so it's not just a tragic comedy. He's the portal. He's the ultimate honey trap. It's how other forces in the world have pressure points on the new president of the United States. That's why it's interesting. I mean, it's crazy like a car crash. It's riveting like a car crash. Yes. But the reason we should care is because that car crash is happening really in the White House.
Yeah. No, I mean, you have to ask, why would anyone hire Hunter Biden to such powerful positions? And the answer is because he's a Biden, because his father was the vice president and now his father is the president. And this is what we'll be exploring. And, you know, it is funny. It's kind of an absurdist comedy, but it's a serious movie. And then you got the serious aspect at the end, where it's kind of like a reverse All the President's Men, where the media, instead of, you know, meeting Deep Throat in the garage behind the window on the 4th floor, they're out stalking journalists, encouraging big tech, encouraging billionaires to shut down legitimate news stories. Woodward and Bernstein, more like Keystone and I don't know, Stalin, the new journalists.
Now, you have set records in the past for crowdfunding your cinema, because of course Hollywood, as we know, is pretty much uniformly Democrat. There are a few anomalies. I think of Clint Eastwood and Mel Gibson, and I've pretty much gone through the whole list. There are some actors, Dean Cain, Kevin Sorbo, but the fact that you can name them shows just how few there are compared to the mass. And really, the industry that was once blacklisted by Senator McCarthy is now running the blacklist. They wouldn't let this movie be made, but luckily crowdfunding makes it possible. How much are you looking to crowdfund? We'll put your crowdfunding page up now. It's mysonhunter.com. How much dough do you need to raise, and when do you need to raise it by to get this thing going?
Well, for Gosnell, we raised $2.3 million in 45 days, which was pretty amazing. So this time, as time has moved on, things are a little bit more expensive. We're looking to raise $2.5 million in 60 days. So we're asking. I mean, your supporters have always been great, always really supported us. Much of our support comes from Canada and comes from the Rebel News troops, and we're asking them to stand up. You know, I mean, things are very expensive. It's expensive to make a film now, unfortunately, because of all the COVID restrictions, which has given nice work to some underpaid, underworked and overpaid union hacks. But that's the way of the world we're in now. So we're going to film it in Serbia, which will double as the Ukraine, and also it's got a Chinatown, so it'll double as China, and there's lots of pretty women and all that. Just a perfect movie for a perfect place for a Hunter Biden movie. So it's going to be, you know, our dollars will go a long way, but we do need people to help and to turn up and really support the movie. I mean, we just went live 12 hours ago, and we've already raised $250,000, just under $250,000. So, I mean, this can happen, but people need to dig deep and help us out, because the cover-up has to stop, and we have to do it at the grassroots level. you've got these woke corporate entities now who are trying to tell you that your opinion and that your stories are not worth telling. What you care about is not important. Look at that shiny thing over there. Well, we need to say this is important, and we're going to fight.
Well, listen, I have been a personal admirer of yours for years. I think I've told you before, Phelim, that your success crowdfunding gave me the hope that we could build Rebel News through crowdfunding, and indeed we have. So in many ways, you're a role model for us. Obviously, we're going to support you. I'm personally going to go to mysonhunter.com and chip in $100. I know that's not a ton, but you know, if enough people chip in $100, we'll get her done. I think Canadians are interested in the United States. The whole world is interested in the United States, and I think we're interested in supporting conservative movie makers. Let me ask you, you've had some great success before, and that's what I like about you. You've got a proven track record. This isn't a lark. You do this professionally. You're very productive. You're very creative. It's great filmmaking. Are you at liberty to discuss some of the casting, some of the stars, or is that still a work in progress? You haven't inked the deals.
Our audience will like this. So we have been talking, and I can say this because he is actually, we kept it confidential, but he is actually mentioned to the Daily Telegraph. We have been talking to the actor Lawrence Fox. Who,
I know Lawrence Fox. He's great.
Yeah, he was in Lewis. He was in TBC's Lewis. He played Lord Palmerston in Victoria, the Netflix series. He's been in, he's been on the telly a lot.
He sort of looks like Hunter Biden. He looks a little bit like Hunter Biden.
Yes, that's right. Well, I mean, he's perfect for this. Now, it's complicated by the fact that he's now running for the mayor of London. So he intends to get elected mayor, and I think he'd be a great mayor of London. But part of me wants him not to be elected mayor so that he can have the time to play Hunter Biden in our movie. I know he's very, very keen, and I won't go into the names, but we just showed his reel to a big Hollywood actor who were looking to get to play Joe Biden, and the Hollywood actor just said, he is the man, he is real. And so we've got some big names interested. We just have to seal the deal. But I mean, you approach their agents and they say, have you the money in the bank? And that's a fair enough question because they probably get a lot of time wasters. So we need the money in the bank. We're working on the script. It's weirdly funny. I'm just looking actually here at the website. We need 2.25 million. So we've raised 275,000 now in the first day. So there's a momentum and we need to keep it going. And I need to phone Lawrence Fox and say, Lawrence, I mean, he's a great actor. He's a great actor.
No, I'm familiar with him. I've had the pleasure of chatting with him once as well. He really thinks about these issues, and he's a great actor. He is a showbiz guy. Well, listen, Phelim, when we're gonna put this interview on YouTube. We're gonna share it with our people. We're going to encourage people to go to mysonhunter.com. I'm personally going to chip in $100. I know that's not lifting a heavy load, but many hands make light work. As you hit your milestones, maybe you can come back on, like maybe when you get to your first million or something, you can come back on. If you have any news about the cast, that'll probably be pretty exciting for our people to hear. We're going to help you get across the finish line. I know Americans will really dig deep. They're very charitable that way. But this isn't even charity. This is real entertainment. That promo trailer that we played at the top of this interview, that is a very sexy trailer. That's very exciting.
Well, thank you. We cobbled that together ourselves. I mean, but we felt, by the way, it's sexy. It's brilliant because the story is brilliant. Right? There's so much going on in this story. But thank you very much, Ezra, for your very generous contribution. You've always come up to the plate and supported us, and we really are grateful, and so have your supporters. So if anybody's in Serbia during the summer, we will be there filming. Call over and see us. This is going to be a great movie.
I am very excited. Congratulations to you and your team. You're a small team, but you pack a wallop. Great filmmaking. mysonhunter.com. Good luck, my friend. I can hardly wait till it's ready.
Thanks, Ezra. All the best.
All right, you too. That's an excerpt from my daily show, The Ezra Levant Show. Every day I do a monologue on the news of the day, then I interview an interesting guest, and then I read my hate mail. You gotta subscribe. Go to rebelnews.com.